morning. Welcome to Poto and Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. John Cornell, Shane Matthews on a Thursday edition. We got a couple of guests. We're going to have Bob Norberg, marketing director of Charissa Smallwood Racing, because the Gator Nationals are in town, and they plan to race this weekend. We'll have him talking Gator Nationals. Basically, the news: the NBA shut down for who knows how long. A lot of college sporting events are shut down, especially with no spectators. I would not be surprised if by 11 o'clock today we get a news flash on your phone saying all NCAA events are done, which is still hard to believe.
It's almost like a movie, isn't it? Doesn't it feel like it's like we're living it through a movie and, wow, everything's canceled. And if you have the signs of the common cold or something like that, you're automatically assumed to be a victim of the coronavirus. And last night, I think the tipping point for the NBA was when Rudy Gobert of the Utah Jazz had tested positive for this. And all of a sudden, the players for the Sacramento Kings and the New Orleans Pelicans refused to come back on the court because Rudy had played in a game that the official who was going to call their game was in attendance.
Well, the Kings were out there. The Pelicans didn't come out.
Right,
of the locker room.
and then the player said, "Well, basically, if this official is going to call our game, and he called Rudy's game before, then why would we go out there?" Basically, what you have here is a lot of unknowns, and I think that's what's happening. That's what's happening to our markets. That's what's happening to our decision makers. Is that you want to err on the side of caution. It's all about safety. And so this thing with the NCAA, it goes from, well, we're not going to have spectators, and I don't think there's any doubt that because of what we saw last night in the NBA, and because of what we saw with the governors of Ohio and Washington and people basically locking things down, you're going to probably get a release today that says that this tournament is going to be suspended, which I'm not sure if that means canceled or if that just means pushed back. The NBA said last night, QB, that they are suspending the season. Now, that's pretty broad-based, but does that mean suspended? Does that mean that it's not going to come back? Does it mean it's going to be delayed until a further date or until further notice? And so a lot of these unknowns are what's gripping people today. And the problem with this whole thing, since the beginning that it became a serious talking point in our conversations was, and in our health care community, was that this is an asymptomatic issue that basically means you could carry it for 2 weeks, not know you have it, and give it to somebody else who is very susceptible to the horrific side effects or horrific symptoms that it gives you. And that is basically folks that have respiratory issues, that have maybe diabetes, who are elderly. That's why we have the second oldest population on Earth in Italy, the second oldest per capita population on Earth, shutting down the country. Now, if you think shutting down a basketball tournament is draconian, or shutting down a league for a few days or weeks perhaps, or maybe even months, what about shutting down a country?
Well, it seems like our country's getting ready to get shut down because if you can't go to sporting events or concerts or this, that, and the other, people shouldn't be able to go to work.
Right. Well, so
why are public schools not shut down?
Well,
yet?
The University of Florida has basically said no school.
Well, I know they have, but what about your local high schools?
That's probably coming. I mean, the thing is that if the University of Florida is going to shut down, does that mean that some of these other universities are going to take the risk of not shutting down and expose themselves to liability or whatever the case may be? Because, lawyers are getting involved here, and you want to be safe before you're sorry. And so it's better to take these precautions. At least that's what the thinking is right now. And so I think the problem that we're going to have is not knowing what's coming up next. And, with prior issues that we've had that cancel events, at least you have some sort of like a lockout or a strike. You have an issue that you can work around. This one is unworkable because you don't know what's coming up next. And you may not feel sick, but you could be a carrier. And people do not want to be exposed. So the elderly are affected worse than younger people. We know this already. So let's say I travel somewhere, and I'm not saying this would ever happen, but let's say I carry it. And then I come in contact with some elderly person, and they get it. And then they die, or something, God forbid, happens to them, and they have to be hospitalized. So that's what we're trying to avoid. And I think right now, communal congregations, these kinds of things are being.
But I mean, that's what I have a hard time grasping is because let's take sports out of it or concerts or church or whatever it is. You go into a restaurant, you just use the example. You may not know you're getting it, but then you get it from somebody, and then 3 days later, your mom or somebody gets it.
Right.
So basically, you need to just stay home and not do anything.
It is unfortunate that there's a 2-week incubation period for this. That is unfortunate. 2 weeks, because a lot of times when you get sick and you have the cold, you know a day in advance you feel like crap, and it's going to be 2 or 3 days before you're back.
The flu, though?
It could be, but the flu is a lot more severe, right? I mean, we have flu shots. We have people that die from the flu and so forth. The common cold is different, but it's a virus. And there's just too much unknown, and the science is taking over right now. And basically, it's preemptive. You don't want to get to a point where the system is overloaded. You don't want to get to a point where we don't have enough testing apparatuses. We don't have enough. Right now, there's not enough toilet paper in the stores, for goodness sakes. There's not enough hand sanitizer. You try to go find some hand sanitizer right now. So you don't want to overload the system by not being preventive. And I think that's what we're seeing right now. Obviously, I think it's what we're seeing right now. And preventive is the best way to make sure that you're not extending this misery longer. So in Japan, the oldest developed country on earth, population-wise, in terms of age, doesn't have these issues that they're having in Italy. There are not as many communal societies in Japan that there are in, say, Italy. The population base might be healthier. In Italy, there's a lot of smoking. Maybe it's just respiratory issues, and the symptoms that you get when you get this are what you want to avoid by being preemptive. And I think that's what Mark Emmert is going to deal with today on this NCAA tournament. You're going to have basketball players who are going to be rubbing up against each other and sweating and all this. And even though they're probably perfectly fine and healthy, they're going to be together. So you have locker rooms, confined areas, all of this.
So having said all that, that means everybody go sit in a closet and not do anything.
It might mean just stay home. Yep. It might mean just
but that's what I'm saying.
Go outside and be away. That kind of thing.
But
if I was sitting here right now and you thought there was a chance I had this virus, just a chance, you're sitting 1 foot away from me, how would you feel about that?
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, like I said.
What does that mean?
Okay, with JC, I mean.
How would you feel about it?
I feel like I'm healthy enough that I'm not going to die from it.
But would you be willing to come in if I was sneezing and coughing and everything and feel comfortable doing a show for an hour?
Obviously, you wouldn't do that. Nobody would do that.
Well, what if I just had a cold? I mean, I didn't have a fever, but I had a cold. Let's just say I didn't have the flu.
But you're using these examples of, my point is, that's everyday life. So that means nobody can go to work. Nobody can do anything.
We're living in everyday life right now. They just canceled the NBA.
I understand
they suspended the season.
But my point is, okay, are you going to go to work today?
Well, I work in an office. I don't work around 40 people.
But there's people coming in and out of that office, opening the doors and things that you don't know who they are.
You have to take these precautions. You have to wipe down stuff. You have to.
You're going to go to lunch somewhere today, right?
I don't know. Probably.
You're going to bring a sandwich?
I am.
Okay, so you're going to go into a restaurant.
I know.
You don't have. So that's my point.
I'm not saying I want to do this.
It's just we all need to just stay home.
Well, look, this is the only way. I'm not advocating just shutting down your life today. I'm explaining what's happening and what the country is doing to try to prevent this from getting worse. And that's what has happened
that
in
would
places
mean
like
everybody
Italy.
needs to stay home, is my point.
I mean, it could. It monkey spreads if there's no NBA games.
Yeah,
he's going to have to get on some hockey until they shut it down.
Well, in sports, softball did defeat FSU yesterday on campus. They're supposed to have a series, a couple games. I think Baylor's in town this weekend. Basketball is supposed to play at 3:25 against the Georgia Bulldogs. I seriously doubt that game happens. Spring football practice has been closed now to the public. I will tell you this, they are still working out as a team. We have
a Facebook Live question.
This is a Facebook Live question brought to you by Pound Hurt, your preferred personal injury attorneys. Clay says, would you be willing to expose others? No, I wouldn't. But my point is, if I had it, I'm not going to go anywhere if I know I have it. Maybe I do have it right.
You don't.
I know. Okay, so I'm going to sit at home in a closet the rest of the day is my point.
Nobody's telling you what you should do.
But my point is, JC, you may have it. So are you going to meet with your clients today?
Likely no, because my clients have no interest in meeting
No,
until this dies down.
I'm saying if you had no idea that you had it.
I still don't have any idea if I have
Right.
it.
Well, nobody does.
That's why they're trying to be preemptive.
I
QB.
understand that.
That's
So my
the problem.
point is not just sports, the real world shouldn't be doing anything then.
Well, that's kind of where it's heading, isn't it?
No, there's still restaurants open. There's still
There today, maybe there are, but maybe this weekend you may find some restaurants that aren't open. I mean, the thing is that there is a hesitance to be. Karen, there's a hesitance to be communal or to congregate, I guess is the best way I could put this. Karen says, "Don't touch your face, John." Well, Karen, thank you for the concern, but I did wash these, so. I mean, I feel like touching my face just because she said, but thank you, Karen. That is exactly the kinds of things you have to do. And, you know, if I get on an airplane tomorrow, one thing I can guarantee you is that I'm going to bring these wiper things and I'm going to wipe down the armrests. I'm going to wipe down the TV screen in front of the seat, or I'm not going to go. I don't have
here's the thing.
idea what I'm
you
gonna
get
do.
on that plane, you're giving a chance that you're going to get it, but then you're chancing that you're going to spread it to everybody you come in contact with.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's why nobody should go anywhere.
Well, I mean, that's
Shouldn't do
what
anything.
people are saying.
Yeah.
And that's what people are doing, QB. They're not playing basketball, okay?
Well,
You can forget about
I
it.
said take basketball out of it.
I'm just saying that's an example of the behavior that we're going to have to accept. I mean, this is just the place we're at right now.
It's
and
bizarre.
it is crazy. It's like I said, this kind of feels like a movie script. And I don't know what the listen, you can't get mad at the folks for saying we're going to cancel or suspend this league right now. They are trying to protect safety first, this kind of thing. Use any cliche you want to use. But you can't get upset at folks who are saying we're going to cancel something or suspend something for the time being. There is every chance that I do believe we'll have an NBA playoff. I think that maybe if March Madness gets suspended, we might be able to push it off to April Madness or May Madness until some things start stabilizing. And, put circuit breakers in until the panic starts to subside. I know this, and I will tell any doctor this, and they'll agree with me, and that is, even though I'm not a doctor, as the weather warms, the epidemiology of all of this starts to get better, meaning there's more space. People go outside. You're not confined indoors as much. And viruses don't seem to survive as well in the hot weather. And it's about to get hot here in Gainesville, and I'm talking upper 80s. At one point next week, we will have an 89-degree day. That is completely different than somebody sitting in Rochester, New York, enjoying a beautiful 39-degree day. And so that is the thing, that you may not like where you're at, but you may be in better places than others. And obviously, Seattle is reacting to this. New York is reacting to this. Los Angeles and San Francisco are reacting to this because of what they are. They are small, confined places with a hell of a lot of people. And that's where the ground zero for all of this panic is. And so...
Well, this is Pot Up with Matthews in the
what we're
morning from
doing.
the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. We're going to go now to our segment.
Is it time?
Time for y'all's segment of Jackie
right.
Spreads. We're going to slide over. We can fit 3 dudes in here now.
Oh, great. Okay, so we're going to share a microphone, Jackie Spreads. Do you feel bad about that? Do you think I'm carrying something that'll hurt you, Jackie Spreads?
Hey, whatever.
Can we all fit here?
Yeah.
Y'all come this way a little bit. JC, you're in the middle now.
Getting in there. All right, here we go. Jackie Spreads. There he is, the man himself. You were here the other night. The other day you were here, and you did well. You hit your parlay, and you missed on the over. I hit my Predators and my Carolina Tar Heels. So let's assume everything goes as normal today, and we have games. Let's talk about those. I mean, we got it right. We got to assume that, right?
Yeah, assume it.
That is correct. I have a lot of picks today for you boys.
Woo.
Right. It's March. It's March. The games are finally beginning. I'm scared to death. Not about the coronavirus and getting sick. I'm scared about them taking away my sweet, sweet baby basketball in March. Why couldn't this happen in November? I don't know. I'm not the guy who comes up with this kind of stuff. Anyway, alas, I have a bunch of picks today. 2 picks of the day, and then 2 other picks that I kind of like, not as much. But we're going to go big on those 2 picks today. I got 2 units. That means I'm going to bet double what I usually do on Ohio State -2. Ohio State -2. They're playing Purdue. I think it opened at 1.5. Moved really quick. Matt Painter's a great coach. The Big Ten is full of great coaches. Even at the bottom of the league, you have former NBA coaches there in Nebraska. Pray for Fred Hoiberg. I really like Ohio State. They had their bumps in the road here and there, but people forget they were number 1 and number 2 at the beginning of the season. This is March. People are playing for seeding. They're playing for their lives. They're playing for their season. That doesn't always work out, though. We saw North Carolina last night. They were playing for their season. I called them going to the weekend. I was way off. They got beat handily by a pretty mediocre Syracuse team. But I really like Ohio State tomorrow, or tonight, or today rather. The game's at noon. -2. It opened at 1.5. I got it at -2.
All right.
My second big pick of the day is Iowa. Iowa is also -2 against Minnesota. Minnesota with a thrashing of Northwestern yesterday.
I love that one.
It's a lock. I mean, simple
lock.
and
You
plain.
hear that? It's a lock.
It's my
Lock 'em up.
It's my pick of the day. It might even be my pick of the week. I mean, Iowa has Luke Garza, the top scoring player in the best league in the country.
All right.
Minnesota, I think they're 14 and 16 this year. They have a good coach. They got Patino, former Gator. But I just don't think they're that good of a team. They have one good player. He's a point guard. He's a senior. Iowa has been consistent all year. They knock down the three. They score. They run. And they have the best big man in the country probably. Right. So Iowa -2 is my second big play of the day.
All right. This is pretty good stuff there, Jackie Spreads. Unfortunately, the night games do not have numbers on them yet. The afternoon games do in some of these menial conferences. So what I'm going to do is I want to stick with the league that has yet to tell us what they're going to do and go with the Vegas Golden Knights in hockey at the Minnesota Wild. All right, so Minnesota at home, but Vegas comes in there to win. They are leading their division. I like the Vegas Golden Knights. And then in basketball, I hate laying numbers, big numbers, especially in tournament games. And I'm looking at an NC State Duke game where North Carolina State really played well, beat them at home, but then Duke came right around and pushed them around. And I think now that we're getting into tournament time, assuming that the intensity is still going to be there, as if they are still going to be playing for a championship and not have to worry about postponing, and all of these assumptions, of course, are fluid. I like Duke laying 8, and I hate laying points. But if it's a 4-point spread, I would be more inclined to take NC State. But because it's an 8-point spread, they're looking at blowout city here. NC State is not a team that's going to be in the big dance, assuming there is one. I'm going to lay the lumber, as they say, and take Duke.
And here's the thing with games like this, especially in this situation where we don't know what's going to happen going forward and in the future, it's not unfathomable that NC State could go win this tournament. It really is not. They looked great the other day. They got that win against Duke. They gave FSU a run for their money earlier in the year. That being said, Duke,
why is it 8?
Here's why it's 8, JC, and I'll tell you, there are things that will confuse you. And you'll sit there being 8 points. They're going to give me 8 points. Oh, NC State looks so good. What does Vegas know that we don't? That's the question you need to ask yourself, because they're never wrong. And when they are wrong, they lose a lot of money. So they are rarely wrong. You have to look at a spread like that.
Look at these buildings back here. Look, there's the Statue of Liberty. I mean, they moved it from New York Harbor to Vegas.
I'm dead serious. Right. If you look at a spread like that, you can't get sucked in. My other play of the day, I'm also going to lay a big spread here. I got FSU -7.5. They're playing Clemson. They just lost to Clemson a few weeks back, just like NC State. NC State beat Duke earlier in the year. Clemson beat Florida State on the road. Florida State is the best home team in the country. They've won 61 of their last 64 at home. They're playing this game at a neutral site. FSU is also very good at neutral sites. I think they come out here. I think they blow out Clemson, get a little revenge, and make a statement here trying to get that 1 seed.
All right, Jackie Spreads. 5 strong minutes with Jackie Spreads, brought to you by Peachland Dental, the Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte and surrounding areas. Ohio State -2, Iowa -2, Florida State laying 7.5. He's going chalk, chalk, chalk. That's danger, danger, danger. I've got Vegas Golden Knights against the Minnesota Wild on the road in hockey, and Duke laying it on NC State. We all love the favorites. QB, I know that excited you right there.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
And Duke's going to win big. They're going to win by 12. All right, thank you, Jackie Spread.
Don't touch each
keep
other.
it clean, boys.
Keep
it clean.
I
got it. We're going to take our first time out of the program. We come back.
We're going to have prevention. I got prevention going on.
Okay, we're going to have Bob Norberg, marketing director of Charissa Smallwood Racing, because the NHRA are in town. Gator Nationals. We'll be talking Gator National when we come back. You're watching and listening to Pot Up with Matthews in the morning.
Hey, time out. There we go. Good.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills.
Let's give them something to cheer for now.
Our Gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security, small enough to serve you, large enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Gators Dockside, wings, ribs, seafood, and beer. Peachland Dentistry, Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte and surrounding areas. Area Rug Masters, your #1 choice for rug cleaning. And Pound Hurt, preferred personal injury attorneys.
Our touchdown sponsors are Radware Promotional Materials, Doreen Wiebe Realtor, Caldwell Banker M.M. Parish, Gator BTW, Campus USA Credit Union, Celebration Point Town Center, Miapa Latin Cafe, Davis Gainesville Chevrolet, Okita America Martial Arts and After School, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, The Keys Grill and Piano Bar, UF Mover Guys, The Digital Mortgage Guy, Adams Ribs, Cloud9 Spa, Wrap Spot, Coldstone Creamery, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Center State Bank, and Style Cuts.
If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, you can visit our website, potupwithshane.com, and click on the Advertise button or call Freddie Wiebe at 352-284-3733.
Again, thank you for all the great businesses that support the show. Please remember, if you like what we are doing here, thank our sponsors and support the businesses that support us.
Looking, still looking. He's going for the end zone. He's got a touchdown.
Charissa.
Welcome back to Pot Up with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Large enough to serve you, small enough to care. John Cornell, Shane Matthews, and next is our guest, Bob Norberg, the marketing director of Charissa Smallwood Racing, an NHRA female driver and a star in the making. Bob, welcome to the program. How are you?
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm doing good this morning. How are you guys?
We're doing great. So this is, I believe, the 50th anniversary of Gator Nationals, which is somewhat the Super Bowl of NHRA drag racing. So tell us a little bit about, what's going to be going on this weekend.
So there's 4 days worth of events. This is the biggest sporting event in the Gainesville area. If you think about it, there's 100,000 people that show up to this event. About 60% of them come from outside the area. Contributes $30 to $40 million in economic impact to this area. Huge. So it's the biggest sporting event in the area. And they'll be racing today, tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday.
Well, and obviously, with all of the news that we've been talking about now, Bob, how does the NHRA plan on handling this little coronavirus issue?
Basically, what they're saying right now is we're racing.
We're racing.
We're racing. That's right.
Switch and going. Top fuel, funny car,
exactly,
pro stock.
Exactly. People are in town. If you go out there to the track right now, it is loaded up.
Okay. All right. So expect that to happen this weekend, folks, and that'll be a great way to get outside and enjoy yourself. I know that from my experience covering the NHRA at the local television station here, we used to always talk to the drivers, and one of the things they said they love about Gainesville are two things: the track and the fact that in March, the weather is generally cooler. It really allows those top fuel engines to breathe, and you can set big times, elapsed time records and speed records, on the track. But now I'm looking at the weather. We're talking upper 80s, so that could affect some of our ETs, right?
Yeah. The weather here is always gorgeous. The track is one of the better tracks in the nation. So they set awesome records. You're talking about a alcohol fuel dragster that goes down a quarter mile in 3.5 seconds.
Well, and Kenny sent the 300 mile per hour mark for the first one ever to do that at a quarter mile here in Gainesville 2 decades ago or whenever it was. Now the track is going from a quarter mile down, has it not? Has it gotten shorter?
No.
It's still a quarter mile. Okay, it's still a quarter mile. Why I thought that, I have no idea. But for some reason, I was thinking that maybe they shortened up the track because these ETs were just getting shorter and shorter and shorter.
No, they're going faster and faster down the same
So
quarter
tell
mile.
us who Charissa Smallwood is and your racing team.
Yeah, so she's a local racer, been racing since she was 11 and 12 years old. Her dad has got his shop out in out in Archer. They have been building race cars together for over 40 years. Charissa, of course, has only been racing for about 20, but her dad's been in the business for a long time, Ron Griffiths. So Charissa started in the junior circuit, went around the country, won a bunch of races, really started to enjoy it, enjoys the thrill, as well as, enjoys just being in that competition. I talk to her all the time, and she's like, this is what I do. I just love going fast. I love making sure that everything is going right. You're talking about her getting behind a race car that, again, is going to go a quarter mile in less than 5 seconds. Goes 270 miles an hour. It's a rocket on wheels.
Yeah.
It's nitro fueled, and basically, she's got a full-time job, but this is what she does on the weekends.
So this may be a dumb question, but when do you practice your drag racing, and where do you do that at?
Yeah, that's not a dumb question. That's a really good
I mean,
question.
you can't
And
go
you
out.
don't,
I'm gonna go down to the park down here, out in the
I
road.
love
and
that
Go out on
question,
this
too.
country road and just
I
go
think that's
270 miles an hour.
You don't. You practice the weekend or the day before the race.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah, you
That's
basically you can put your car up on blocks and get the engine going, but you can't get it on a track. Unless you drag it someplace to do that, and it's expensive to run a car, so you don't practice very often.
Well, and elapsed times. I mean, that to me, that's just reaction. And so you really have to. You can do that without actually racing. You can.
Yeah,
time
that's
it.
right.
So-
They hook the motor up to a computer, make sure all of the valves are opening, all of the spark plugs are firing, and the fuels are getting injected at the right time.
So who are some of the drag racers that our fans should pay attention to this weekend when they go out there?
There'll be Erica Enders.
How about one of the Force girls?
Yeah, Brittany Forrest will be there. Most of the top racers in the country will be there this weekend.
It's one of the biggest events on their circuit. Well, Bob, when the fans go out to one of the things I think people really love doing as much as watching them race is going into the pits and seeing how these engines are literally taken out of the chassis, torn apart completely, and then rebuilt and put in every single time they go down the track. So your crew is vital in this case. Does Charissa have that kind of a resource, and what does it take to get to that point where you are competing on a consistent basis, because it is a lot of work?
Yeah,
lot of teamwork.
everybody who brings a car out there to the track has got a crew with them. You'll find out that most of the crew members are family members or somebody that's been associated with that group for a long time. They're really loyal to each other. So as you said, you can go down pit row
awesome.
and watch them take apart motorcycles to dragsters.
It's unbelievable, QB.
Yeah.
You'd be amazed at how efficient these guys can do an engine. And one of the things that's so great about the NHRA and about drag racing in general is how approachable the drivers are. I mean, the drivers and the crew chiefs, they will talk to you in the middle of doing something. It's kind of like we watch football and basketball, and these coaches are literally walking away from the interviewer at the time that they can, when they don't want to be in there talking. These guys look forward to talking and communicating with media and fans.
Yeah, if you go down race row right now, you'll see that every driver is there at the car, ready to talk to their fans.
Great. It's awesome.
Ready to give them a little card about themselves, autograph things.
No, they want sponsors.
They want sponsors, of course, but they want to interact with their fans.
Yeah,
Speaking of sponsors, your driver, Charissa, is looking for more sponsorship. So how can people, if they're interested, contact you?
Yeah, so right now we're launching our website. I got into this, and we're building a marketing program for her. We're launching her website, charissaracing.com.
Yeah.
Or they can contact me through charissaracing@gmail.com.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I think that's tremendous. We wish you the very best of luck this weekend. Give Charissa our best. Here at Pot Up with Matthews and Morton and John Cornell, I'm going to be making sure that we keep our eye on her. She's a local story, and we're excited for you guys.
Come out there and see us at the racetrack.
All right, that's a
Would
deal.
really
Bob,
love it.
thank
All
you
right.
so much. Bob
Thank you,
Norberg.
guys.
That's
Take
Bob,
care.
and we're going to take our second time out of the program. We come back. We're going to talk more little TPC possibly, JC.
Let's do that. I got
They ain't
the hell.
canceled. Have they canceled that yet?
I don't want to think about it.
We don't think so. You're watching and listening to Pot Up with Matthews
Thank
in the
you,
morning
Matt.
from the
Okay,
Crime Prevention
thank you,
Security
guys.
System
Yeah.
Studios.
Time out! Time out! Hey! Time out! Time out! Time out! There we go. Good.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills.
Let's give them something to cheer for now.
Our Gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security, small enough to serve you, large enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Gators Dockside, wings, ribs, seafood, and beer. Peachland Dentistry, Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte and surrounding areas. Area Rug Masters, your #1 choice for rug cleaning. And Pound Hurt, preferred personal injury attorneys.
Our touchdown sponsors are Radware Promotional Materials, Doreen Wiebe Realtor, Caldwell Banker MM Parish, Gator BTW, Campus USA Credit Union, Celebration Point Town Center, Miapa Latin Cafe, Davis Gainesville Chevrolet, Okita America Martial Arts and After School, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, The Keys Grill and Piano Bar, UF Mover Guys, The Digital Mortgage Guy, Adams Ribs, Cloud9 Spa, Wrap Spot, Coldstone Creamery, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Center State Bank, and Style Cuts.
If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, you can visit our website, potupwithshane.com, and click on the advertise button or call Freddie Wiebe at 352-284-3733.
Again, thank you for all the great businesses that support the show. Please remember, if you like what we are doing here, thank our sponsors and support the businesses that support us.
Looking, still looking. He's going for the end zone. He's got a touchdown.
Welcome back to Pot Up with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Shane Matthews, John Cornell. If you want to send us a text on the Titan MR text line, that is 352-353-7465. We're hoping to have Chris Harry about
I'd love to hear
8:40-ish.
what's the
8:40-ish.
latest up there.
Yeah.
I mean, that we got to know, right? The Gators are scheduled to play today.
Yeah.
I guess he'll tell us what we already know.
Yeah,
and
let's
hopefully
go.
give us some
I want to go
insight.
to our play of the day, Taylor.
Let's do
Our
that.
play of the day is brought to you by the Area Rug Masters, your #1 choice for all your area rug cleaning services at 352-448-5999. And this was interesting last night. I was flipping through the channels. I saw this live. Vince Carter of the Atlanta Hawks was out of the game. They inserted him with like 15 seconds because this is his last year in the NBA, 20-something years.
Oh, no doubt.
And they give him the ball. He goes down and he nails a three-pointer. Maybe his last shot ever as an NBA
Well,
player because who knows what's going to happen with the season. So that is our play of the day.
Yeah, and thank God he made that shot, right? Because
Well, we wouldn't be showing it
we
on
might
play of
not
the day.
see him play anymore.
It wouldn't be the play of the day if he would've
certainly.
missed it.
No, I'm just saying for his sake.
And speaking of the
what
NBA,
a career
JC,
he had.
I'm going to throw out some stats
Let's
here
hear
to
it.
you.
Let's hear it.
These are I want you to name the players with 30-plus points per game,
Oh.
4+ rebounds per game, 6+ assists per game on at least 45% shooting in a season since 1975. There's 5 of them.
Okay, I'm going to start with Dr. J.
No.
Okay, I'm 0-1.
Let's think of some of the best players in the world.
Kobe Bryant.
No.
Okay, I'm 0 for 2. Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan's
Okay,
one?
1 for 3. Larry Bird.
No.
I'm 1 for 4. Okay, well, I'm really doing great here with this
So would
question.
you like for me to just tell you?
Well, let me get one more guess.
Okay. I mean, who's the
Magic Johnson.
No.
I'm 1 for 5.
Okay. Michael Jordan was correct.
Okay, great.
LeBron James,
Oh,
Dwayne Wade,
oh,
Steph Curry, and the Gators' Bradley Beal.
Bradley. Well, that is
I mean, he's having a
great,
phenomenal year.
Well, he is, and he said the other night, I did see that he wants to end it in Washington, meaning basically he wants to be a wizard for the rest of his career. That's cool. Well, great. I mean,
Well,
those
we
are
may
some,
not be playing basketball again.
well,
so he may
maybe
be ending
not
his
for the
career.
next few weeks or a month. But how bad would it be, honestly, if they just waited for a couple of weeks or a month or so until some of this dies down, if it does, and because of the precautionary measures that we've taken, things get better, and maybe they finish the stinking season in July or August? Would that really be the end of the world? No. It wouldn't. So I think they just had no choice, QB. They had no choice, especially when Rudy Gobert came out with a positive result on
No
his
doubt
test.
about it. We got the TPC that starts today. Probably
All right.
already teed off.
It did. It already teed off, and you didn't tell me to pick my golf.
Well, we can pick them now since we don't have a whole lot of sports to talk about.
Well, we have lots of things we can talk about, QB, but I hear you. Okay. All right. Sounds good. Let's go with, on my side, I'm going to go with, are you writing this down?
Yeah.
I want to go with,
By the way, I beat you last week. In
oh,
golf.
you did? Mm-hmm. Oh, well,
My South
you
Koreans,
wanna know.
well,
yeah.
hammered you.
Sanjay, yeah. Okay, give me, Patrick Reed. Give me, let's go with Justin.
Do I get to pick?
Yeah, we go back and forth.
Yeah, I'll take Ricky Fowler.
Oh, gee, shocker there. All right, I'm going to go with Justin Thomas.
Okay, that's a shocker.
Roll Tide. All right.
I'll go with Roy.
Oh, my goodness. Rory McIlroy. That's going out on a limb there, QB.
Yeah,
Outstanding pick. Great pick. Give me, he is your guy. I mean, you love, now you know how to say his name.
I don't know if that's
very
correct,
proud of-
but it
no,
sounds-
that's
it sounds
that's
a lot
about as
better.
good as you as anybody could get, QB. I'm proud of you. Let me go with Ian Poulter.
He's a good putter.
Yeah, he is.
I'm
Really.
going to go with Hideki Matsuyama.
He's a very good player. All right, give me Kevin Kisner. Okay.
All right. I'm going to go with
Your guy's struggling, by the way. He's hired Butch Harmon
Who?
to help him out. Your favorite golfer, who? You don't even know.
Koepka?
Yeah.
he
He's
don't care about the
struggling,
other
man.
tournaments.
He's
He doesn't
struggling.
care about the regular tournaments. How many regular tournaments does
Why
he
did
won?
he call Butch Harmon saying, help, Butch?
Well, he doesn't practice, so he needs to start practicing.
Okay. Go ahead.
Well, I need to look here.
Why don't you take a local guy like Furyk or somebody like
I'll
that?
take. How about I take Billy Horschel?
Oh, and right underneath him, I'm going to go with Tommy Fleetwood.
Okay.
Tommy
I
Fleetwood.
thought you were going to take a local guy. Okay, we got 5 golfers apiece.
All right, so go run them down for us.
JC has Patrick Reed, Justin Thomas, Danny Lee, Ian Poulter, Kevin Kisner, and Tommy Fleetwood. You need to grow your hair out like Tommy Fleetwood.
I
JC.
don't think I can. My hair curls up, and I look like Daryl
have-
Hall and John Oates.
I have
Daryl
Ricky
Hall.
Fowler,
John
Rory
Oates.
McIlroy, Sanjay M, Hideki Matsuyama,
You
and
went
Billy
with
Horschel.
the Asian taste here with Sung Jae and Hideki.
Mm-hmm.
We love Hideki, QB and I. It's a good story. I'll tell you one day. Don't have time right now. But Gene says Justin Thomas is your winner this year.
Who won it last year?
Yeah.
You're supposed to be good at this.
I
trivial
would
stuff.
know, but you put me on the spot. And I should know this.
Oh, I just looked at the leaderboard. Rory Sabatini leads at 2 under par,
You got
and
the wrong
Gator
one.
and Florida former Gator Brian Gay is in second at 1 under,
Taylor, let me check out some of those comments on Facebook Live.
which is brought to you by Pound
Pound
Hurt,
Hurt.
your preferred personal injury attorney.
Gary Meyer wants a medical question answered here. He says, why have no children contracted the virus? It's the strain. It's
for old people.
It affects the elderly more than the young people and people with respiratory issues, diabetes, and such.
Yep. At Center State Bank, we put business first. We are the largest community bank in the state of Florida. Understand that all small businesses need a community business partner that they can rely on. Center State has 5 convenient Alachua County locations to serve you better. To learn more, visit centerstatebank.com. Center State Bank, member FDIC.
One of our most loyal watchers and listeners is a fella named Freddie. And Freddie says, TPC still going on. Yes, Freddie. They just started teeing off on the first round, and we just did our picks. Thank you for tuning in.
Well, let's see. Go back there so we can see them, Taylor. What did Rick say?
Rick says the experts do
don't
not
know
know why.
Oh,
On
referring
the
to
Gary's
Gary.
question about the children. Well, I think Shane and I gave you kind of an idea.
Trey.
I touched my face, Karen.
Trey says on the Pound Hurt comment on Facebook Live, morning, not to be insensitive, but I'm glad this didn't happen during football season.
I mean,
Let's hope
I see what you're saying.
Let's hope it's all fixed before
listen,
that.
I will say this, and we've heard this before. The H1N1 virus was otherwise known as the swine flu, and I believe the time was about 9 or 10 years ago. Almost 40 to 60,000 people died. Mm-hmm. Okay, they died. It was suppressed, I think, by the media at the time or by the government or whatever it was, to the extent that it's not even comparable to what we're going through right now, and neither are the numbers of casualties to this. Okay, so just keep things in perspective. But right now, everybody's getting canceled. Everything's getting canceled.
We're going to have
school is canceled. The University of Florida says go online if you want to learn and pay us your tuition.
We're going to have a physician from Celebrate Primary Care, which is one of our sponsors, actually. Come in tomorrow and talk coronavirus.
Are you ready for that, QB?
Yeah, let's get our questions ready.
Well, I don't know. What about our man up in Nashville? Any answer? Working on that. You're efforting. Are you efforting? Because right now we are in a situation where, with all of the hysteria from yesterday and all of the news that came out and the place that we're at right now in the world, and certainly we focus on the sports world here, but we're not insensitive to some of the larger issues that, of course, affect the sports world, like what we're talking about today. We have a tournament going on in Nashville, Tennessee, at the SEC conference tournament at Bridgestone Arena, which will be empty as we know it.
I got a question for you, because we have a friend who's in Nashville
playing
for the tournament. Obviously, can't go to the tournament. May
Yeah,
cancel
he is.
the tournament.
He is.
But how was the town last night on Broadway?
So the music kept playing, the bands kept playing, the crowds kept going in the restaurants. There was a communal and congregative effort in all of the establishments in Nashville, Tennessee. They certainly did not cancel all of the small-scale concerts that go on in Nashville, of which there's probably at any given time at least 50, right? And so I think that the sporting people, the people who are in charge of sports, are taking it to a different extreme.
Chris Harrier, are you there, my man?
If that's the right thing to do.
I am.
All right, we got Chris Harrier from FloridaGators.com, senior writer. Are you hunkered down in your hotel room?
Hunkered.
Yes, I'm in a hazmat. I've had some dude I've never seen before it looked like some robot or something came in and just washed me down with some kind of stuff. So I'm sitting in my hotel room.
So Chris, are we going to play basketball today? Is there going to be basketball?
You know what? I don't know. I don't know, Shane, because yesterday, obviously, I'm sure you guys have been talking about it ad nauseum, but that was something else, man. About a 4-hour window of nothing but breaking news about stuff being canceled or stuff changing, and I guess if they want to call off the SEC tournament, I guess Georgia and Arkansas will be co-champions for the 2020 season. But they, as of right now, they're playing basketball, and the first game is in about 4 hours or so. Yeah. So we'll see if there'll be a second game. So that's the one the Gators will be at.
Being with the team, have they taken precaution? Has anything changed? Because I know they had their shoot around, then they went to a local high school for practice, where the kids, you can't walk around Nashville. You got to stay in your hotel room. Anything changed?
Well, that's usually protocol in terms for a tournament.
Well, that's true.
Keeping a hotel. Your family being here and what have you. But the message the last few days from the trainer Duke Warner has been, just the same stuff that they're telling you when you turn on the television, is to wash your hands and wash your hands repeatedly. Have you heard the saying you're supposed to sing Happy Birthday?
I have not.
Yeah, while you're washing your hands, you're supposed to sing Happy Birthday,
and that's long enough.
That'll give you the right, that's how long you're supposed to take to wash your hands. I guess depends on how fast you sing Happy Birthday, I guess. But in terms of not a whole lot about that has changed. Now they got restrictions obviously today. I'm sure there's a lot of people whose families were planning to come here. They're not getting in the game, Shane. Right. So they're gonna have limited participation in terms of who can get in. The people who got to work the games. I guess I'm deemed essential personnel versus non-essential personnel.
So I thought I read where the family members could get in. Like the
Only-
kids with
only a-
the
only-
comp tickets?
Yeah. The people that are designated to who are on the guest list of the players will
Right.
get in, but
Okay.
you can't add anybody. Like some, well, I'm not coming to this game now. We'll switch out. No, that's not happening.
Uh-huh.
So they've kind of laid down the law on that. So it's going to be a really strange afternoon, assuming there is basketball this
Yeah,
afternoon.
before we talk a little basketball, so how was the nightlife last night there on Broadway?
And did they
No different.
No different?
It's not. No, it's no different at all. That's what I don't understand. I mean, they can shut down the arenas. Are they going to shut down Buffalo Wild Wings, or because people are going to watch the game en masse. But and I had this conversation with a few guys, including our doctor traveling. He says, that's going to happen, but 400 people in a bar is a lot different than 15,000 people in an arena. I guess that makes sense.
Well,
right?
We're talking with Gator at FloridaGators.com, Chris Harry, at Gators Chris on Twitter if you want to read his tweets. Chris, the Kentucky fans, there's lots of them, right?
Yeah.
I got a friend who was up there last night saying the Kentucky fans were rioting when they heard about the news that they would not be allowed in Bridgestone Arena. Did you notice any of the Big Blue Nation throwing things, or what was it like for some of these fans? And will they get their money back on the tickets? I assume they will.
I'm going to assume they're going to get their money back on the tickets, but I mean, I can only assume. I haven't explored that to be honest with you. And Kentucky obviously isn't playing until Friday, so the Hugh Durham used to say the blue mist is coming in. The blue mist hasn't shown up yet, but the Kentucky fans love the tournament in general, and there were a few a spackling of them out in the streets last night. But I imagine because this is their vacation. They spend their life savings to come to the Wildcat Invitational, which is what they call the SEC tournament. So, just like all these other fans, I'm sure they're upset about it, but I'm sure that's going on everywhere.
I mean, what's it going to be like, Chris? I mean, you're going to be, basketball prides itself on the environment, on the madness, on all the chaos and the noise and so forth. And you're going to be essentially in an empty building, covering an important event, I would think, assuming it goes on. As a journalist and as somebody who covers a team on their beat, what will it feel like in your mind when you walk in that building today?
Well, it's going to feel it's going to look a little bit like a shoot-around does when you go to shoot-arounds in the arena. Here's the difference. They're going to be playing the game, obviously. You're going to be the soundtrack isn't going to be fan noise. It's going to be sneakers. Yeah. Okay, sneaker squeaking.
What about coaches cussing at players?
I mean, that and the select fans. I mean, Somebody made we were talking about, it's going to be like an AAU game where the mom gets thrown out for yelling at the ref or something, cause
that's very true.
Right. Cause that's you're going to hear everything.
Yeah.
And just, it is going to be kind of surreal. I do remember covering preps way back when there was a fight. Tampa and Catholic and Jesuit used to have a vicious basketball rivalry, and they had a fight one time and had to stop the game where they had to replay it behind closed doors with just the referees, and they let the media in. And that was very, very strange. But this is going to be in 15,000 seat arena 18,000 seat arena. And it's historic, but it's also unfortunate in a lot of ways. But I'm still not convinced it's coming off. I'm really not. I mean, that's very first question you asked me, is there basketball today? I can't answer that question. I'm preparing like there's going to be, but I'm also will not be surprised at all if they call it off.
So give us kind of the how the players, what they've been feeling about this. Are they, because I was listening to some talk radio nationally driving in today, and they were talking about how some players, even if the NCAA says, okay, everyone can go play, just no fans in the stands, are there any players that you've heard that I'm not sure I want to take a risk and play?
No, there hasn't been, and that's a great question. We were talking about that last night. When is a parent going to step up and say, wait a second? Especially now with the whole Rudy Gobert situation. Yeah. All it takes is one guy, and one parent saying, wait, you still want to play this tournament, but I can't come, or we can't come watch our kids play in this tournament or what have you. But you still want to make your money. So there is a line there, and all those questions are going to be asked. And I'm sure if you turn on TV right now, Jay Billis is probably asking some of those same things. and some other people who are second guessing the whole thing.
Well,
but
yeah.
no, in terms of here, this team, I haven't heard anything like that.
Well, we heard Dan Wolken at the USA Today say cancel the whole darn thing, and Jay Williams this morning was saying, why are they playing? They're not going to play. There's just no chance they're going to play. So, I mean, there is a chance, but there's no realistic. He doesn't see it happening. So,
but just think about this. Think what happened, like I mentioned before, that 6 hour window of how everything changed. We got a whole week before the NCAA tournament. So, no, if you ask me right now, what would you bet that there's going to be an end? No, I don't think there's going to be an NCAA tournament.
You think they'll postpone it to a later date, or how can they do that? You just think they just cancel it?
Yeah, I mean, because no one thinks this thing is going to be gone in 3 weeks. No. So why? So you can't postpone. No, it's going to be a really, really, really bad situation for a lot of, you're Dayton. You have this historic year, and there's a good chance to, but at the same time, these are not normal times right now.
No.
Okay, so we got about 2 minutes.
Yep.
Let's just say we do play basketball today. We've beaten Georgia twice. How do you feel about the game?
Well, I mean, this is only the third time since 2014, the 2014 season, that Florida's played a team a third time. The other time was Kentucky, the really good Kentucky team in 2015, and Florida got swept by that team, obviously the one that started 38-0, and then Florida on its way to going undefeated beat, I believe it was Tennessee twice in Kentucky, or sued Kentucky 3 times and Tennessee 3 times. It's hard to beat a team 3 times. Georgia, their last time out before last night, they weren't very good at all. It was almost like they laid down. I think they lost by 30 points at LSU. Yeah. Anthony Edwards was not good last night. But in terms of the breakdown, I like this matchup better for the Gators because I think Ole Miss has more guys who can score, who can do some things. But at the same time, I mean, they have to be on their P's and Q's. Obviously, Edwards has he checked out yet? Thinking about the NBA right now, I don't know that for sure. Rayshawn Hammonds is a 6'9" guy who really gave them fits in that first game on the way to that 22-point lead that Florida rallied back from. Severe Wheeler is a decent point guard who can get inside and cause some problems, but. If you go back a week ago where Florida won in Athens, Georgia hit their first 7 shots. 4 of them were threes. They're up 13 points. It looked like they were rolling, but Florida figured out what was going wrong, locked them down, and did the stuff needed to win that game. Florida's better. It's just a matter of all these distractions. What's going on right now? It's just not normal circumstances. So, if you ask me, I would think Florida's going to win. But if you ask me, I don't think the game's going to be played either. But who knows?
Yeah. Well, let's hope for the best, whatever that means, Chris. I don't know with what that means, but obviously we want the best for everyone. So,
of course, and we want everyone to get out of here okay.
Chris, thank you so much. Be careful up there, and if you get to go work, then go work, and we'll be following.
All right, guys. Appreciate it.
That's Chris Harry from FloridaGators.com. Join us straight from Nashville.
Well, I tell you, man. And this is a good question here on Facebook Live before we wrap it up. This is from Rick. A college player can get the virus, he's young, and be okay. But if that player carries it to his grandparents and they get it, there's a good chance that, worse things could happen. So that's what we're dealing with, the unknown. And that's
tournaments today.
But, it's funny what he said about pushing things back. He categorically said there's no chance of that, and I don't ever want to say there's no chance of it. But
he was pretty certain about that.
Yeah, I mean, would it be just that unrealistic to have it a month from now if things start to stabilize? I don't know. I guess the answer is no. So it is.
Well, you got to think of this, JC. Mm-hmm. The arenas that you play these sites in have other things going on.
Maybe.
But what I'm saying though is.
I know.
Let's just say, say one of the sites was in Orlando. Mm-hmm. Okay,
there may be a concert.
You move the tournament 2 months from now.
And there's a concert.
There's a concert, or the Magic are in the playoffs.
So,
who knows?
Yeah, if you miss your window, I guess the question is, if you miss your time window, you missed it.
Yep. So today's show is a wrap, brought to you by WrapSpot. A vehicle wrap from WrapSpot will give your business years of brand recognition and increased sales. Call WrapSpot today. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll see if JC decides to travel or not.
Okay. Have a good one.